Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubois Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. 'Cause today, my goodness, I just had a run yesterday that put me to sleep for like 20 plus hours. I got home and I just went to sleep. I went on this running this marathon that really put a lot of thought into me, especially when I hit the mile 17? And I asked myself, a question just came to my mind. So today I kind of just want to ask some questions to hear from some people to give me some insight of what's going on here. The question I asked myself is, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself in such stress and duress and just chaos and problems and tiredness and just, why am I here right now? It's not a great question to ask when you still got 9 miles to go, but it's a question I asked myself. And then like literally 3 miles later, I'm saying to myself, when am I going to sign up for the next one? So all in the middle of what I was doing, I went through this period of everything is good to this period of life sucks right now, to this period of, I want to do this again. And I didn't have a choice but to stop. I had to keep going. Because I remember I got to mile 22 and I had to stop to take a water drink at one of the water stops. One of the guys looked at me, he's like, "You gonna finish?" I said, "Buddy, I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. I gotta get this done. It doesn't matter what I'm feeling right now. It doesn't matter what's going on with me. I gotta get this done. It's something that I just absolutely have to do." Something that I just realized in my brain and how I view it that way is most people don't view it that way. They don't see the life this way. And this is the questions that I want to ask. It comes down to this positive and this negative, and this rewards and these punishments. I don't know why I'm just fascinated with continue to keep talking about it, because something that just, it finally makes sense to me. It finally just years later. So I learned about this stuff in January of 21. We're in January or February of 25. So 4 years later, I'm finally like really, really understanding it, because I'm now living it and seeing it in my life as opposed to just understanding it. You can go. I don't care what y'all do. I'm gonna say just like that. I don't care what you do. Y'all go do what y'all do. Actually living it and seeing it and hearing people talk about some things that just, for me, the main thing that I want to help answer my questions is people that are, I'm gonna say the age range of about 60 and above. I don't know what it is that my channel's been changing up some. So most of my audience is 35 and under now at this moment, where it used to be 55 and above. But there's still a lot of people that watch that I would want you to add some input in what it is that I'm saying, because the people that are like 25 and 18 to like 35, they don't know, they don't understand this. It's like an old world that used to be, that they don't live in this world at all anymore, of how I'm going to say things used to be. And things used to be a way that we used to take care of each other, I'm going to say. Because when you work at a job, you got a job for Coca-Cola, you got a job for Microsoft, you got a job at Intel or Dell, you got a job at all like the places my parents worked, the meat packing facilities, the meat markets and things like that. When you had jobs, you stayed there. You had a job and you stayed there. And in my opinion, it's because the employer actually took care of people. They were looking out for the best of you. Oh, you need insurance? We got you. Oh, you need some time? We got you. Oh, you need a sick day? We got you. They were always making sure that they were taking care of who was working for them. Whereas today, it's no longer like that. It's no longer like that at all. And the other thing that I want to talk about in the sense of how customer service used to be. You would call up Comcast, you would call up Time Warner, you would call up AT&T, you would call up all these companies, you would call up Whirlpool if you had a problem with your appliances, you call up, especially when Sears used to be in, when all these stores used to be around. We used to have Venture, we used to have all these stores that you'll call them up with an issue and they're like, "We got you." And you'll hear somebody, they'll say they got your back. Oh, there's a problem with it? Oh, we'll send someone out there. Someone will be there for you. Someone is there to assist you. Someone is there to help you. You have a problem with your bill? Oh, what's going on with your bill? Let me look through this and let me figure it out. Nowadays, when you call up for some customer service because your Verizon bill is looking weird, they're like, "Oh, buddy, we don't care. Figure it out." Like, whatever. What are you going to do? You going to leave? Then leave. I don't care. I remember back in the days, you wanted to keep getting the good deals on your cable service. You call up, we had Comcast where I lived at, and you'll call them up and say, "Hey man, I'm thinking about going over to the Dish, because this rate, we got 10% for you. We'll drop $10 a month for you. We'll keep you on that premium plan. We don't want to lose you as a customer. You being a customer to us means more than us making an extra $10 a month. I'd rather lose $120 this year and keep you as a customer so that you stay with us." Nowadays, you call them up, they're like, "Buddy, I don't care. You go wherever you want to go. Do whatever you want to do. You leave us, leave us. Just don't even try to I'm not gonna worry about that. Don't even try to come back to us in the end. We're gonna put you on this list that states that you can't never come back. Like, everything is just so different, and so different in the way of, in my beliefs about this, and the way that I'm really starting to really understand it, is because we may have known something, but we didn't understand it. And then when we started as a people to start to understand some things, we didn't actually put it into practice. And then when you start putting it into practice, you start to realize that things that you thought that you understood, and you thought that you knew, were actually like, you really didn't know everything that you thought you did. And then when you go through the practice, you start to get more skilled with that practice, and then you start to get to a place that we are today. We're at a place today that we as humans, my opinion, we are no longer as human beings living in a natural sense, as we can look at something in nature and say we as humans operate off that same type stuff. We are now completely disconnected. We as humans are now evolving into something, I believe, something completely separated and different from all the plants, all the animals, from all the everything. Because the animals that we use to study, to be able to understand us, and all animals in reality, that for the most part that we study, we put them in captivity. We force them in this blissful oasis that is not real. So what we do with the dog, we take the dog and we put it in a sterile facility and we start doing tests on the dog. And when we do that, we can learn some things about, if I put something in this sense, I can get from it what I want. So if we take a dog and we put it in a crate and we stick electrodes on the ground, with stuff that they were doing, and they would put the electricity to it to make the dog do something, and the way that they would stop the electricity when the dog lifts a foot off the ground. Once they do that, they put the dog in a sterile sense of its new environment that it created for it. This is not natural. There's nothing in nature that is going to, in reality, straight up, electrocute a dog from just walking around on the lands. Us as humans could accidentally put a power line and it could fall, but still, that's not natural. That's not nature. That's us as humans intervening and doing things to force these animals to have to be away. So the interesting thing is, they started to study this to figure out more of how to, the word I want to use is control, manipulate, and the best word of saying is dominate another species. So this is all that's been going on with us as humans. Now that it's been put in practice, there was a day that, like I said, people used to take care of each other, that neighbors used to talk, neighbors used to have get-togethers, used to have barbecues and picnics and all kinds of stuff. There used to be a much more togetherness. Even just in the military, there used to be this camaraderie, I think that's how you say that used to just be just togetherness. When I was in, it wasn't quite like that anymore. Everyone is kind of like fighting against each other, battling against each other, trying to get rank against each other, and not really wanting to work with each other. There used to be this togetherness that it's like, you will never break that up. Like they are going to battle, they are going to war, and just great things are going to happen from that. The people that are, say, left behind, they're having to get-togethers. It was just such a togetherness. Most stuff is just togetherness. You can find pictures and little videos and things all around of so much togetherness. But today, what is everything? So separated, so isolated, so all alone, so just independent. You live next to your neighbors, and how many neighbors do you know? Like, no. You may know a person's name. That don't mean you know them. How many times have they been over for dinner or lunch? How many times have you made breakfast for the community? How many times have any of us done any of this on just a normal, routine, constant basis? It just doesn't happen anymore. And it doesn't happen anymore because in my brain, I'm seeing it as we are no longer in a natural sense. We are now in this confined, sterile environment. And in the sterile environment, it can control us to tell us where to go, how to jump, what to move, what to do, and how to be. And that comes down to something that is really interesting in the sense of, just because we've known something for thousands of years doesn't mean that we're actually in it and living it and experience it. We're now experiencing something completely different, in my opinion, right now, that is very strange. And it comes down to the biggest thing that I can say is the consumerism of how our lands are, and the capitalistic ways, I guess I could say, that it's going extreme. There's nothing wrong with it, but everything is always fine when it's base level, when it's in the gray area. But when things start to get to this extremes, that's when things start to get toxic. And we're living in this world today that things are starting to become very toxic because we're no longer living off of what I want to say is our natural instincts. We're living off of manufactured things to try to get us to force us to react and force us to move and force us to buy, force us to get, force us to do. And we're not really even understanding why we're doing it. We're just doing. We're jumping into things that aren't natural, but it's perceived to be natural because it's this new norm that we're putting in because we are now isolated from what I want to say is who we truly are. We're out to fight against each other. We're out to work against each other. That's why you can't work in a workplace today for no more, what I think the average is like, 3 to 5 years or something like that, where it used to be like 30 to 50 years. 30 to 50 years was the average workplace that we used to do. Not thousands of years ago, but literally 70, 80, 60, 50, 40 years ago. But today, 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 or 3 to 8, we can't work and stay in a place because of, what I would say is workplace toxicity, because we're pinned to fight against each other. And we're pinned to fight against each other in the sense of, this is the thing that I would want someone to just really listen to, is that positive and that negative. That our positive is to gain rank, and that is a negative to somebody else. A negative to somebody else, so we're working against each other in this battle, in this fight. We've been doing this in school as well. We've been doing this everywhere since it's like the 70s we started going. The 80s it started getting a little weird. The 90s it was like the full swing, we're doing this now. And then now we're into something that's completely different. Because something very interesting is especially, you got grandkids, kids, especially it's the grandkids, that you can see the difference in what their school is like compared to what your school is like. It's like not the same. The school that I went to is not the same as the school that my kids go to. And I'm not even, so my oldest daughter, I'm only 20 years spread from that. Her school was like nothing of mine from a 20-year difference. So imagine a 40, 60-year difference. Our schools are not the same, and our schools are more today based on that reward and that punishment. It's not based on you excelling and being and doing the best that you can. And in reality, 60, 70, 80 years ago, the norm wasn't to even graduate high school. You just went to a point and then bam, let's go to work, let's go do something, let's go get something done. Let's go make it happen. Let's go make the money that I need to do. And in reality, compared to where we are today, you're better off for doing that, because today you're just being more forced into this sterile box that you don't have an option to even look away and look out. You only can look at what they tell you to look at, which is fascinating. It's right here in my pocket. They only want us to look at this. This is it. Don't look at that tree. Don't look at that grass. Don't look at anything else, but just look at that phone. That's all they want you to do, is to look at that. And you're getting everything that you basically need in this artificial world in that. They're creating a world in that phone to be able to make you stay in it, to make you just only submerge yourself into it. Because it started off with what? We had television. So at first we had radio. Radio was something that was just kind of like the first, say, practice of all of this stuff that's coming out. They're practicing. Or in reality, straight up, we can go deeper than that. And then it was the newspapers. The newspapers are pushing us to believe this, see this. This is all we want you to understand. And then the radios, and then the TVs, and then we got fancy with the color TVs. Then we got fancy with being able to have TVs that can stream stuff. You don't no longer got to go to Blockbuster or what was the other one? Hollywood Video to go get your movies anymore. You can now get everything just instantly. And then these phones started really upgrading to the point that now I could stream whatever I want at a moment's notice to give me what it is that I think that I need in this fake world, in this fake reality. This is the part that I believe, because a lot of comments that I get, it confuses me. It confuses me in a way that it's like, you're not seeing the world out here. You're only seeing what you want to see that's being forced, not even want to see. You don't get a choice anymore, unfortunately. That's being force-fed to you to see, that is telling you how things should be. And when something goes against that, you're like, that's not right. That can't be it. I'm not going to deal with it. I don't want to listen to that. Even though what's actually out there is what it is, what I want to say is what's real, what's natural, what's right. But the phone is constantly just forcing us to stay in this. What I want to say is the worst part of it is the consumerism part. It's constantly making you need this and need this and need this and need this and need this. If you don't have this, you're not nothing. If you don't do this, you're nobody. If you can't have this and be able to buy this, then no one's going to want to be to talk to. No one's going to want to be around you. And it's forcing us in this box. And the more that we're in this box of this mass control and this sterile environment that they put us in, the more that now they can say whatever they want to get you to jump, to get you to move, to get you to respond, to get you to react, to get you to just get all in your feelings and all in your emotions, when in reality, you need to disconnect from that to actually figure out what is actually in nature. That's the part with me that I've noticed. The more and more I understand all this positive, negative stuff, the more I'm actually getting disconnected from the world. Like, I don't give a crap. Like, I don't know what it is. The more I am, because my negative is making sure that I can be able to say something, but it's not a positive that I'm trying to get anyone or even myself into positive. I'm just trying to get indifferent. So I'm officially walking in this world the same way that I look at my Dalmatian at this moment. Indifferent. Whatever's going on, I don't care. I don't care. You want to holler at me? I don't care. You want to praise me? I don't care. You want to, whatever you want to do? I just don't care. I don't care. And I don't care because I'm not going to allow myself to be forced in this system that in reality they're trying to force me to be into. The system where I'm constantly having to fight and battle and bicker with everyone around me. I just don't care. And more that people try to think that they know who somebody is, the more and more you realize you know who somebody is when they're in that box, when they're in that thing. But when they're not, you start to question, it's like, what's going on here? What's happened? Because for most part, most people always think like, I know what they're going to say. I know what they're going to do. But there's some people on this planet that I've been proving that to many people. They have no idea what I'm going to do. They have no idea where I'm going to go. They have no idea what I'm about to say. No idea at all. And I think that challenges people because I say something and you go into your thoughts. You go into your thoughts and then you're like, I said that, but I didn't say it. But you thought that I said it. So that I said it because you thought that I said it because of the system that you're a part of. As opposed to when you get out of that system, you're going to start to actually be able to hear what people are saying and be able to understand what actually is going on. Something that I've just noticed is much different is that concept that everyone is just fighting with each other. Because it's something in the comment that I wrote deep into talking to someone about this training stuff. Because I do notice this with dogs. The more said training that they have, the more antisocial, the more hostile, the more so-called aggressive they are. I just see this across the board. The more that the dogs are like more on all this obedience stuff, the more that they want to fight other dogs. The more that they want to do whatever they can, the more they resource guard, the more they can't play, interact, and get along with other dogs. You know, granted, a dog can't get along with a goat or a sheep or a cow. That's one thing. But a dog getting along with another dog, that's the part where they are doing the same as what we as humans are doing. When I take those restrictions away from the dog and I say, hey man, just you got stuff that you need to do, get it done. I no longer see that antisocialness. I see the dogs that want to get with each other, that want to entertain with each other. And that's the part that I can say is how we as a society also used to be. We used to be more together. We used to be more wanting to work with each other, wanting to help each other. But today, we're more antisocial. Get away from me. Don't talk to me. I'm not going to help you. What are you going to do for me if I help you? That's where we're getting at today. And that's what I see with the dogs when it comes down to putting them more into this positive, negative ridiculousness, is they become more antisocial. They become more, what are you going to do for me? They become more possessive over their items. They become more, all of these things. That's why for me, straight up, I'm going to say something. If your dog is like heavy on obedience and all this stuff, just stay away from the dog parks. Because I don't guarantee, your dog is the one that's creating all the hostile mess that's going on everywhere around. All the other dogs are just running and doing what they're doing. But your dog comes in with this looking all tough and all trying to be all mean because it has no choice but to do that. It doesn't have a choice because it thinks I need to be on top of or else. And so it's going to have to display that to the world. And that's what we as humans are also doing at this moment today. I have to be on top of you or else. I have to be faster than you or else. I have to be better than you or else. I have to get this promotion before you or else. And that pushes us to just fight each other and fight and fight and fight and fight and continue to keep on fighting. Why is it that all that you can see today in reality, when you look anywhere, you watch any TV show, it's all about somebody fighting against somebody else. It's all about bickering and battling. Like I can't even watch so-called these Marvel movies and all these even like PG movies anymore today. It's all about conquer, kill, and destroy. Yeah, that's all that it is. This happens to the queen and we got to come in and kill all the people and take over the castle and do all this madness. It's all about just conquer and destroy. It's just not about let's work together. Oh, we don't agree with each other? Let's work together so that we can overcome something that's going on in our future that is something that we should worry about, as opposed to this silliness that's actually going on right now. But no, everything is we're fighting against each other. And again, it's like something that is much different from anyone that's, especially if you're 80 years old, you wouldn't even be able to possibly relate to a 20-year-old guy today. There's just, you got nothing there about the same. You didn't go through the same type of school stuff. You didn't go through the same type of work stuff. You didn't go through the same type of nothing stuff. Nothing is all the same. Everything is completely just like I can't even say the opposite, but it's there's nothing to relate to. Nothing to relate to. Because they're growing up, everyone that's younger than me and me that's growing up in this world, we're growing up in this, I need to take from you so that I could survive. I'm not growing up, let me help you so that you could be able to survive. It's what can I take? What can I abuse from you? What can I steal from you? What can I manipulate from you to be able to get what I need? That's the world that we're creating. We're worried about all this I don't know what word to use there, so I'm just not going to say anything. But that's the world that we're creating right now when it comes down to this positive and this negatives that we're always trying to rule ourselves under. And in reality, no one understands it. No one even hears about it. No one knows it. It's being used. It doesn't matter if you know it. We're in the middle of the practice of it. So if you don't, like, I don't understand, I'm not doing that, I'm not in that, I would just look at your life and look at what you got in your home right now. If you got more than you need, you're in it. You're in it. If you're looking at your phone right now and thinking like, I really want this, and you just don't understand why, this word I want to use here is feelings. Your feelings are drawn into stuff that doesn't make any sense. You're like drawn into things where you just think that you need it, and then you get it and you're just like, why do I even have that? Why am I even doing this? You're being forced into things that you need not to even, you're doing it and you don't get a choice. And you're going to say that I'm in control of it, but I'm going to guarantee in most cases you're not. You're getting into things and you don't know why you're doing it. That's the thing that just messes people up with a simple dog training stuff and your simple dog. You're getting into doing tactics and practices that you're like, why am I doing? Especially, I've heard this comment so many times, especially from the older people, 60s and above. I'd never done this stuff in my whole life with dogs, and I never really had issues, but now I'm having issues when I'm doing this dog stuff. Why did you even get that first thing of thinking, I need to do this with my dog now? You're not in control of what you want to do. This thing in your pocket right here is the first part of it today. Today it's smart, whereas 10 years ago it wasn't that great, but today it's better. Before it used to be TVs, but today it's so powerful that it's feeding you what you need. And what you need is, of course, you need to start spending some more money. You need this, you need this, you need this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. And it's not in a sense of caring at all about you. It's caring about itself and making sure that it can keep getting the more money that it needs. The more money that even us as a people make, the more taxes we're paying. That means we're giving more and more into what it is that they're looking for, to take everything from us, to make sure that we have absolutely nothing, and to make sure that we're constantly on this planet worrying about fighting against each other as opposed to wanting to help each other. Because everything you could say, if you're heavily dependent upon finding information and all this stuff off your phones and off your TVs and off all your stuff today, I'm telling you, you're getting into things that you don't even realize. It's being force fed to you. Stuff that you don't really even want, but it's being forced to you to make you think that you want it. And you don't have a choice. You just have to, you get in it. And that's the part what I want to say is that's the control. They're putting us in a sterile box that we're not allowed to see outside of that anymore. I'm not allowed to look at this tree anymore and think, hey, I can make a chair out of that. That's gone. You can go on your phone and go buy some fake particle board stuff and say, hey, that's your only options. Your only option is that. You can't be creative and look at that and think chair or think table or think, hey, man, I can make a crib out of that right there. No, they don't want us to think that way anymore. Not at all. They want us to think in the sense of you need this service here to be able to do something for you so that they can extract. It's just a trickle effect of all these services that they're just taking until you got nothing at all. And then when you got nothing at all, then what? They just want to get rid of you and just move on and just take. What is that? Oh, he found a whole deer antler. We're actually going to take that one home. Kahi, get it? Get it? I ain't walking all over there. Get it? Oh, thank you. Get it? Bring it over here. You can get it. No, Kahi, go. He's only good at hi. Go get it. If I touch it, he'll retrieve anything I touch. But if it's just something random new that he finds, it's so hard for him to understand to pick it up and bring it to me. I don't know what that part is, but he can find anything. If I touch it and I throw it, I don't care where I throw it. I've done some crazy stuff with this dog, and he always 100% of the time finds it. And it's really, really, really incredible what he's able to do. But this is stuff that I've just noticed that seeing stuff like that, for instance, people don't even do that with their dogs anymore. They don't even allow the dog to be and do what it is that it is. It's all about just control. You just sit there and you just shut up. As opposed to allowing the dog to just run, allowing the dog to search something, allow the dog to be able to chew on something, allow the dog to be able to dig on something, to jump on something, to roll in something, to be itself. That's not what it is anymore. And this is the same with us as humans. We're not that anymore. We're not able to just freely just express who we are anymore. Now we have to be very limited on what we do and what we say and how we are. That's just the new normal that I've noticed I see.